What's up, everybody? It's Darkstrider, the YouTube Assassin, and we are getting ready for the videos that you guys have wanted for a long time. We're doing a bunch of builds. So, I'm sorry it took so long. I wanted to get the level cap. I wanted to get a lot of Drachmian resources in order to upgrade all my gear. And now we're at that point, so I can show this off to you. You can see what you're aiming for, what your, like highest thing could be and stuff like that. So we're going to get into this right now. All right, so what we're starting off with are the Master Assassin robes. And this is a set that you get from the DLC, The Legacy of the First Blade. I believe it's from episode 3 you get all these pieces. So we're going to start off, I'm going to show you the pieces because this is going to be a heavy poison build because the set comes with a lot of poison on it. So this is the build, okay? We start off with the Master Assassin's hood. All right, as you can see, 25, 43 armor. It has plus 25 assassin damage, 10 seconds intoxicated duration, which means that as they're poisoned, it's an extra 10 seconds duration that they stay that way. It's got 15% damage with assassin abilities, which I stuck on it, so that way all your assassin abilities are going to do more damage no matter what it is, no matter what from that skill tree you use. Okay? The set gives you the Vanish ability, intoxicates enemies, and costs no adrenaline. Basically, you're going to use Vanish. It's not going to take any adrenaline bar away. And all the enemies are going to be poisoned and blind. So you could run away, do whatever you got to do, just murder them if you want. It's up to you. All right? That's an awesome ability, honestly. So now we're going to go over to the bracers. It comes with plus 25% assassin damage, which is heavy. A lot of assassin damage on this build. 30% adrenaline per hit. Now, I added 50% adrenaline on assassination kill. The reason I do that is because this build, I've noticed, it's going to use a lot of adrenaline. Like, I find myself running out of adrenaline often. Sometimes I'm killing, like, just groups of mercenaries and, just rush assassinating all of them and then, using other abilities and whatnot, and I lose out all my abilities. I end up having to like move backwards and just hit them with a bow and arrow. It gets crazy. So that's why I added that. It's great. It'll improve this build. It'll improve our adrenaline. It's going to be wonderful. You'll see. Okay, so now the robes, plus 25% assassin damage, plus 40% poison damage, which is huge. And then I added plus 30% total armor. Now, the reason I added that, first of all, we're going to fix those stats once we get over to, what's his name? There's a builder or a blacksmith who actually increases your stats. So once I get to him and I do a couple of the Ostrakas, we'll increase that total armor. The reason I put that there is because I am going to be squishy. And you'll see why in a couple of moments. Now, we go over to the belt, plus 25% assassin damage, plus 40% poison damage. Now, I gained 25% of an adrenaline segment with assassin abilities. Again, I'm going to blow through a lot of adrenaline. You could replace this if you're not using that much adrenaline. You could replace this with something else, maybe some extra poison damage. I don't know, but we'll get into it. You'll see how this build works, and then you can improve it. You may have different ideas. So the assassin boots, it has another 25% assassin damage, another 10 seconds intoxicated duration. I added 40% adrenaline consumed by Shadow of Nyx's ability. Now, the reason I did that was because sometimes I'll use Vanish and then I'll have to run, so I'll need the Shadow of Nyx. And Shadow of Nyx takes like a lot of adrenaline as you're invisible. So for this reason, I decided to put this here. If you don't use Shadow of Nyx a lot, you may want to use something else, all right? Now, we'll go over to the weapons, all right? First weapon, Pride of the Lion. Got this, actually, I want to say it was the first episode of Legacy of the Hidden Blade, but again, comes with 25% assassin damage, 30% adrenaline per hit. It has the Rush Assassinate ability changed to one more enemy, which I love, because I love being able to hit 5 guys instead of just 4. It works out in my favor. The other thing I added to it was plus 40% damage when attacking from behind. If you're going to play sneaky and just walk around like a true assassin, you're going to want to do as much damage as possible, and this is going to be that heavy hitter for that. All right? We'll go over to the Hero Sword. I have plus 25% assassin damage, plus 40% adrenaline per crit. That's going to be great. It has plus 20% damage with critical assassinate, which when you're assassinating from behind and you do the critical hit, it's going to take them right out. Now, I added, and you don't have to add, but you know this is a staple of mine, plus 100% damage, but health cap to 25%. The reason I do this is for that extra damage. It gives me that extra oomph. And a lot of my builds use this. You may not be comfortable using this. You may not be comfortable with just, 25% of your health. So you may want to do something else. You may want to get something else on it. By the way, this sword is in an end quest that you get at the end of the Seventh Tale of Greece. All right, that's where I got the Hero Sword from, which I thought it was pretty cool. Especially it has all this heavy assassin damage and adrenaline and whatnot. So again, the reason I put this 100% damage is, and the reason I put the total armor is because of that, because I'm going to be very squishy. Again, if you're uncomfortable with that, don't do it by all means. And also, by the way, I use a lot of legendary gear in order to show you this stuff. You can do this stuff with epic gear. Some people believe epic is better because it has the extra slots, but the roles are always different, okay? Anytime you go and you get any kind of epic gear, it's going to have, just different roles on it. So you'll see this is Demosthenes' hood, and it has 24% assassin damage, 50% crit damage, damage on Spartan soldiers. You may get this and you may have different roles on it. You may have better stats. You may have worse stats. You may have hunter build stats. It all depends. Okay, so that's why I use the legendary gear, because I just want to show you what you can do. You can do something similar if you find the right epic gear with the right roles. All right. Moving on into the bow, I use the Fang bow because it is a poison build. I decided to go with the poison theme. It has 25% assassin damage, 40% poison damage. Basic arrows become poison arrows, so you don't have to actually turn them into poison. And then I added 20% damage with Rush Assassinate ability, so that way I'm doing some extra nasty damage to anybody with this build. All right? Abilities. Ignore this whole thing. I'm working on other things, so this is a work in progress. That's why everything is maxed out here. All right, but what you're going to want to pay attention to is in the assassin build, you're going to want the Shadow Assassin, because you want to be able to assassinate them from behind. And as you can see, the level I have it at, it increased by 40%, and you automatically loot the enemy. Okay, so that's awesome. Now, I also added the Rush Assassination ability, because what happens is you're going to be able to throw this thing 3 times, take out 3 people all at once, and then you could hide or whatever. You may just want to take out a small flock of people. It's great. All right. I use this in tandem with Hero Strike. Now, with the sword that I have, I'll be able to, instead of chaining it 3 times, I'll chain it 4 times, which means I'll kill 4 people. And sometimes, most of the time, it's instantaneously. Okay? And then when I get to that 5th person or that 6th person, I may want to do the Hero Strike, and usually that one-shots them as well. Okay? Especially with all the stuff that I have, it's going to be murderous. It's going to be like completely crazy. Another thing that I use this for, the Rush Assassination ability, if I'm surrounded by like 3 mercenaries, I could chain from mercenary to mercenary back and forth, or even if there's 2 of them, I could go back and forth between them until they're dead, and then finish the last one off with the Hero Strike ability if I didn't finish them off completely. All right? Poison Mastery and Venomous Attacks. Venomous attacks, you're not going to need maxed out. You may just want to put 1 point in it and then max out the Poison Mastery, because Poison Mastery is actually going to give you a huge, huge advantage in poison damage with this build. So that's what you're going to want to do, okay? Like I say, ignore this. Just put 1 in there, and then put 3 there, okay? Vanish I just use for this build. Now, as you can see, with a burst of bright light, stun nearby targets for 10 seconds. Attacking them will break the stun. Now, as you can see in the little animation, it's used, and then you get to run away, all right? But with this build, it's going to be used, and they're going to be poisoned, and then you can run away, all right? Or use Shadow of Nyx over here, which, as you can see, you become completely invisible, all right? In the animation, you see the soldier running. If you're standing in front of the soldier in his path when he's running towards you, then Shadow of Nyx ability is no good. He'll be able to see you, okay? Also, animals can sniff you out, so be aware of that. If you're nearby any animals or a mercenary that has an animal, they're going to catch you, all right? So be careful with that ability. Now, the other thing that I strongly recommend, right here, Critical Assassination, excellent for when you're sneaking up behind them. You take them right out, murder them, put them down, and immediately, you know, you just, it's so wonderful. Like, you'll see when I use the build. I'm excited to, like, show you guys. Stealth Master, I like to have this maxed out because, as you can see, noise from movement and assassination is further reduced. They don't hear you. They don't hear you coming. They don't hear you murdering them. And then the enemy detection, it's minimal. They have to be really close to you before they really can tell that you're there. And sometimes they'll be on top of you and still not tell that you're there. All right? So that's a necessary. That's a must. Slow time, you don't need. Slow time I use every once in a while, and I'm using it in some builds. For this build, it's not necessary, so you could ignore that. Okay? Hero Strike, like I said, I always go with that. Over here, Call to Arms, you don't need that. That's going to call out your lieutenants. It's not necessary. Over here, Revelation, I usually use it just so that it'll reveal, you know, like whatever secrets are nearby. Sometimes, you know, people that I miss with Icaros, if Icaros doesn't catch them, you know, from above, if I'm standing close to them and I use Revelation, it'll show me them and their level and stuff. All right. The other thing that I kind of recommend, but you don't really need to, Death Veil. Now, again, this is something that you'll only get with the DLC, that you'll get with the Legacy of the Hidden Blade DLC. I use Death Veil because the body just disappears. It disintegrates. And honestly, that's great because I'm just too lazy to, like, pick up a body and hide it in a bush, you know? I want that body gone. I don't want anybody to see that it was there. So that's basically what we're going to use that for. Now, over in the warrior class, we don't need any of these. You definitely do need Second Wind. Second Wind, especially if you're going to be as squishy as me, you're going to want to get that energy right back. On top of that, if you're poisoned, if you're on fire, this will put it out immediately. You know that if you're on fire, you could roll and it'll put out the fire, but poison, it won't. So that's why I definitely add this. Okay? Weapons Master and Gear Master I usually use on all my builds just because it gives you more armor and more weapon strength. Okay? So you're going to be less squishy and you're going to do like a little bit extra damage. So that's why I add that. Shield Breaker, not necessary. Flaming Attacks, this isn't necessary because this is not a fire build. And then over here, Fury of the Bloodline, we're not going to need that. Okay? We could use it, but we're not going to need it. Overpower attacks, this isn't a really big overpower build, but I strongly suggest that you do put at least 1 point in this so that you can unlock Battle Cry of Ares. Battle Cry of Ares I'm using on like every build. It's great. It'll just knock out everybody. As you can see, it gives you 50% more damage for 20 seconds with, you know, all 3 tiers lifted. During this time, all enemy attacks are non-lethal, which means that if you have 0 health and they stab you, or 1 health and they stab you, you're not going to die. It's just going to go back to 1. You know, you're still going to be flashing red. Once this wears off, you better get the heck out of there, though. All right? Now, over here in the Hunter build, Predator Shot, not necessary. Spread Shot, no. Sixth Sense, really not necessary. Arrow Master I use just because I like to have a variety of arrows, but this is not even going to be necessary because with this build, all your normal arrows become poison arrows. So you're really not going to need this. All right? If you want to save the points, you don't have to put this there. Multi-Shot, Devastating Shot, you don't really need. I usually use these two when I'm in when I'm in those conflicts, sometimes like I like to add these just to like get multiple people or just like really slam one enemy. That's what you would use that for. But again, it's unnecessary. This isn't a Beastmaster build, so you don't need that. Rain of Destruction is another unnecessary thing. Archery Master, you might want to invest in Archery Master because as you can see, Hunter damage is increased by 40%. Anything with an arrow is Hunter damage. Okay, so you may want to use that. And then you no longer consume normal arrows when using Hunter abilities. So if you're using any of these things like these shots here, Devastating Multi, it's not gonna you're not gonna lose any arrows, any normal arrows that is. And then it slows down time while you're aiming in midair. So if you're falling off of something and you're aiming at somebody, time slows down, makes it a little easier for you. Okay? But you may want to add it just so that you could get this over here, Ghost Arrows of Artemis. You want the Ghost Arrows of Artemis in, not exactly in this build, but if you're going to be taking out enemies and you're going to be doing it from a distance as an assassin, you might want to have the Ghost Arrows and have that go through like everything. All right? Like I said, Rapid Fire, that's really not necessary. You don't really need Rapid Fire for this build. So those are the abilities that you would have. Now, as far as ability points, you're going to go over to Assassin, and this is where you're going to dump most of it. Now, I suggest you put it in Poison Weakening Effect, okay? Assassin damage, damage with swords, because we have 2 swords on this build, okay? This doesn't have any daggers, so you don't need it with the daggers. You don't really need, if you have a couple of points, you may want to invest in these too, okay? Damage while full health, you could throw it in. If you are using the 25% health ability, this actually will work. Even though you're at 25% health, that still counts as full health. So you might want to throw that in there too, all right? Poison damage, that's a biggie. You definitely want it in poison damage because, you know, things like Vanish, when you're using it and it poisons everybody, that's going to do a lot of just damage to a large group of enemies, all right? Adrenaline on Assassination Kill, I like to use that because, as I said, we really need adrenaline. Adrenaline per hit and per crit, you may want to add that too as well, all right? Going further along, you don't really need any of this other stuff here. You may want to put damage on elites and bosses. That always helps, okay? Chance to deal 25% assassin damage on melee hit, that you may want to invest in because that, you know, if you're doing an assassin damage on a melee hit, you may definitely want the chance to deal like 25% of it. That'll be great. Damage when attacking from behind, that's a no-brainer. A lot of this, like I said, is going to be sneaky. I'm going to be attacking from behind, so I want to have that damage. Cooldown duration for all abilities you may want to throw in there just because it makes it a lot easier to like get that stuff back so that you could get back to the action quicker. Damage with assassin abilities, of course, going to use that. Damage with the Hero Strike ability, you may want to invest in that because, like I said, if you're going and doing all those attacks and then you do a Hero Strike at the end, you may want a beefy Hero Strike, all right? And then, of course, damage with the Rush Assassinate ability. As I'm doing the Rush Assassinate ability, I want to be able to take out as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. Damage with Critical Assassination ability, you may want to invest in that as well. As you're sneaking up from behind, you're going to want to do all that damage, all right? So those are where we're putting the ability points. Again, you could also put it in a bunch of the other areas that you were going to go for. Like if you had Hunter, you were going to do Hunter Mastery. You may want to do critical damage, critical chance. Obviously, whatever you're using, like Ghost Arrows or Artemis or Devastating Shot, you might want to invest in if those are your big go-tos. And then Warrior, you're not going to be doing a lot of damage with Warrior because this is mostly an assassin build. So you may not want to add a lot of that stuff there. Damage on Athenian and Spartan soldiers you may want to do. Health you may definitely want to do just because, I mean, especially if you've got 25% health, you're squishy. You're going to need it. All right. Armor penetration, not so much. Yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to do there. All right, so now, past that, we're going to get back to inventory, and we're going to look at the stats. okay, because the stats are going to give you exactly what's going on with this build. So let's see. Warrior damage, 140%. Assassin damage, plus 355.2%. That is disgusting. That is going to be some serious murder. The damage modifiers, damage with headshots, 140%. Like I said, as you put points into these other things, they'll increase. But for right now, I'll take that. Damage with swords, plus 22.8%. That's decent. If I get a couple extra points, I'll put it into that. And then as we go to the critical modifiers, you see here, critical hit damage, 100%. Damage while full health. Critical hit damage while low health, all 100%. 15% with the chance. We could increase the chance, you know, later on. There may be other things we could do to modify that. Now, let's see. Fire damage, fire duration is nothing. Like I said, this is a poison build. So poison damage, 160.2%. 38 seconds duration, and the buildup is 160%. This is really going to poison them and stick it to them. They're going to be sick for a little while. All right, 38 seconds is a very long time when you're poisoned. Armor bonus, 120%. Like I said, I'm squishy, need that. Range resistance, 10%. That's going to be great if somebody's trying to shoot me from a distance. Adrenaline per hit, plus 60%. That's good. Adrenaline per critical hit, 40%. Adrenaline on assassination kill, 88%. Now, as we're sneaking up on people from behind, we're really going to need that. The unique modifiers, 15% damage with assassin abilities, health cap 20% or 25%, 40% damage while attacking from behind. That's huge. Rush assassinate ability, change to one more enemy. Gain 25% of an adrenaline segment with assassin abilities. Vanish ability intoxicates enemies and costs no adrenaline. Plus 20% damage with rush assassinate ability. And 40% adrenaline consumed by Shadow of Nyx ability. Again, like I said, this may not be a perfect build. You can make adjustments, all right? Let me know in the comments below what adjustments you made. And, you know, I'd love to hear from you. You know, maybe you come out with a better build. We'll see how this goes. All right, but we're at one of my favorite forts. And we're going to be sneaky. And we're going to start attacking people. So let's see what we come up with. How did he just shout, take cover? Again, I didn't use Icaros, so here we go. I'm actually going to try to take a couple of these people out now that they're getting close. So as you saw, I took out quick. That was pretty good. Sneak around. We'll sneak up on this guy and just take him out. There we go. Nice stealth kill. And like I said, with that ability, everybody disappears so that they don't break my chops. I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about their bodies being found. Wow, a lot of mercenaries are showing up. I really should have done this with Icaros before so that I could have seen that everybody was here, but I was so excited for the build to show you guys. A lot of mercenaries showing up. Okay. Now we're extra squishy, so we're running. And we're trying to beat them to the brazier. There we go. Here comes an arrow. And we're squishy, like I said. Nope, you don't got me. Doing some nice damage there. Wow, got damage there. Oh, see? Look, I'm already down with my adrenaline. Adrenaline is down. It looks like I'm gaining adrenaline while just sitting here, though, which is cool. See, now this is where a rush assassinate ability will shine. There we go, now run. We took out as many people as possible. We're going to run around a little bit. Again, we took them out with no problems. Took them out quickly. If I was doing this a little quieter, I could have taken out way more of them. I even did some damage to the mercenary that was there, which was a good thing. And in theory, I could just take out this entire base, and they won't even realize it. Okay, I don't like that the mercenary is coming. I'd like him to go away. I could also use my vanish attack. My vanish attack will not use any adrenaline whatsoever. And one of the things I like from being up here is that you could still see them do this. Oh, I didn't see him from up top for some reason. I couldn't aim at him. Well, you guys still can't catch me. I forgot that everybody saw me, so I really couldn't do that. No, you haven't lost me at all. You know where I'm at. Come on up. Oh, I hope you don't give up. Come get me. Come at me, bro. These guys are this dumb? They really didn't see me up here? They didn't see me run? These guys are so confused. What's happening? Yep, it is just business. I'm just killing you all. You don't even see me. I'm like John Cena. Really? You just stabbed me while I was climbing. Oh, there is an escape. I just did it. There we go. Once again, vanish. And there goes the player thing. You think so? Why did she climb back down? That was kind of wild. Okay, come back up. See, that's what I mean with this adrenaline. I'm running out of adrenaline. I really need to figure out a better adrenaline build, because that's what's murdering me, honestly. Why is she killing the soldier now? I guess the soldier hit her? Wild. Wow. That soldier was good. I can't believe he got me. From that distance, no less. Wait a minute. Nope. Haha. No, I don't. That's my problem. Everything is burning. Why are the mercenaries attacking the soldiers? That's so weird. There's something strange going on in this game. Alright, anyway, that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of it? Do you think it's a decent build? Do you think it's a good build? Would you try it? What changes would you... Comments below. Tell me all about it. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, thank you for watching.